Hi, everyone. Thank you for watching. By law, I have to tell you that this is for entertainment purposes only. All videos are property of Psychic Liz Cross, LLC. Thank you.
Ho, 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 everybody, and welcome to December 2025. It's Mr. Reality and Psychic Medium Liz Cross. Liz, how are you doing?
I am great. Thank you.
A lot of myths surrounding the holiday season, a lot of characters and casting characters. So I thought we'd start with a real life saint. This is Saint Nicholas of Myra, lived around the 3rd and 4th century of this era. And he's kind of known as the basis for Santa Claus, very mythologized in Europe and Russia, and was a real person who was popular in his era. And I wondered if we could talk to him kind of about Christmas and what he's been doing lately.
Oh, wow. So we're going to talk to the original Saint Nick. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Here he is. He's coming forward. Now he's actually coming through as quite a poor man. His clothes are very poor. Uh, he didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah, he liked to
So,
do that. That was his trick. So he would pretend to present himself like that and then give money to people and give donations to people. A few of the stories about him were that there was a man who was worried that his three daughters were going to have to go into a life of salacious work, and he gave them donated dowries in gold coins to each of the girls so that he was able to sell off his daughters and, give them a dowry. So there are a lot of things about him that are storied in mythology, and he was actually, you know, very ardent supporter of Christianity at the time. So what does he present himself as? How does he look? And his face, does he have a beard? Does he?
yeah, he does, but it's like long and scraggly. I mean, he kind of looks homeless to me. He's laughing. I'm like, why are you laughing? He goes, that's what I want people to believe.
All right.
Hmm.
So what compelled him to give to people anonymously?
What compelled you to give to people to anonymously? He wanted to start a tradition. Times were really hard. There were a lot of starving people, a lot of poor people, people that didn't have any homes, people that were freezing. And he was always trying to find ways to give to the poor, but it was such a big problem that he wasn't able to just fix the problem himself. So he did have an idea, and I'm saying, how did you get this idea? And it just came to him that if he created a time of giving where people give to the poor, that would be just so momentous for him, just so amazing and magnificent. Because he said there were plenty of people with plenty of things that could afford to give, but they just didn't. He wanted to create the spirit of giving.
And so when he looks across the tradition and the holiday season that we have here now, almost 2,000, 1,700 years later, how does he feel about that?
He is so overjoyed that it is still going on, particularly when it's charitable, right? That is the whole basis of Christmas, of the giving. It's charity,
And the deals also, right?
right? The sales. He's laughing. He thinks that's funny.
What other stories can he tell us that maybe were not popularized about his life? Other charitable projects he had?
Hmm. Well, he wasn't married and he loved children, but not in a seedy sort of way. He wanted to be like Christ. And he's saying, he just wanted to continue on the work as much as possible. He wanted people to believe in miracles
Yeah, did he
because,
perform any?
oh, did you perform any miracles? Well, yeah, I mean, all the time with the charitable giving. Oftentimes, people were just praying for small things, food, comfort, blankets. things like that, clothes, um, even ointments and medicine, which were in the form of ointments back then, nurses, caring, things like that. That's what they were praying for. And those were the types of things he was dishing out. And of course, that in itself seems like a miracle. And he says it was a miracle to many people.
How was it living under so there were a couple emperors, a few, four he lived under. Diocletian, who persecuted Christians, and then Galatius, then Constantine the Great, who legalized Christianity, and Constantinus the Second. Can you walk us through those emperors and how it affected him and his life and seeing those around him who were persecuted for what he believed in?
Ooh, um, how was it under those emperors? I mean, sometimes it was hell. Like you'd have to go underground. You'd have to be anonymous. You didn't want to be the person that was, handing out or even speaking religious information. Now, it got better over time and it was more widely accepted, but you could go to jail, you could be beaten. It was a scary time, but it didn't stop him from doing his work.
Can you tell us about his folks and how he learned to kind of be that gracious as a young age and how he learned to read?
How did you learn to read? His father taught him. And what made you want to be this? He always wanted to be this person. And can you tell us about your upbringing? I mean, he says he had the most wonderful upbringing. It wasn't poverty stricken. And again, the best things about his own upbringing were when people would bring gifts to him. I feel his father was quite a religious person as well, some sort of leader, is what I'm getting. And that was just the most wonderful thing, just getting a gift.
So, what does he remember most about growing up in Patara?
What do you remember the most about? Just the friendliness and the love and the companionship and the community, the sense of community, everybody sharing food with one another. Like nothing was off limits. Everybody shared. If somebody didn't have something, there was always someone to share it, or he would share. And he loved that. I mean, it sounds wonderful, doesn't it, really?
Was he imprisoned under Diocletian?
Briefly, yes. Um,
Was his nose broken in prison? Because they've done facial reconstruction of him and show that he had a broken nose based on where his bones were rediscovered.
was your nose broken in prison? Before prison, yes.
What was that situation?
What was that situation? Well, they said to stop what he was doing, but of
Who,
course he didn't.
who told him to do that?
Who told you? The authorities.
Hmm. They didn't like him donating things, or
Well, he would try to convert people as well, right? So it always came with some sort of message. And this is part of the reason he dressed like a pauper, so nobody would suspect what he was doing.
is he incarnated now?
Are you incar? No,
Has he incarnated since St. Nicholas?
a few times, but actually, as Saint Nicholas, that was one of his last incarnations. He only
Last.
had a handful after that.
How many has St. Nicholas had as a human?
How many did you have as a human? About 2,000.
Holy moly. Is he high up on the evolutionary staircase then?
Relatively, yes.
Is there a, I'm going to see if I can ask this question right. I've been thinking about it. Is there like, of the incarnation of St. Nicholas, it was very impactful and still we feel that way today. Are there other lifetimes that he's had that he can tell us about in those 2000 which were as impactful? Or was he only able to give us that because he'd had, 1900 other lifetimes?
Um, how, so your lifetime as Saint Nicholas, did you have, I mean, he's always been a leader. Um, he's always been someone who promotes change, someone who he says promotes like free thinking, moving away from societal norms, following your heart, following what's good, ethical, moral, the right thing to do. Yeah, he's been a leader in a lot of lifetimes.
What does he think about the his legacy now as Santa Claus and how that's been kind of changed over the last hundred and so years?
Well, he still believes that fundamentally it's important, even though it's not really about charitable giving anymore, because it was really charity. But he still is honored that he will always be remembered. And I'm saying, will we always have Christmas? And he says, on the earth plane, yes, somewhere there will always be Christmas.
Has he decorated for Christmas yet?
No. Do you
No.
have Christmas in the spirit world? He says yes. And I'm like, really?
What does it look
No.
like?
Yeah, he was just teasing. No, no, there's no Christmas in the spirit world.
There's no calendar system. There's no what type of things is he working on if he's not currently incarnated?
Helping others. He's one of the advisors. You know, our advisors up there. But thank God he's one that actually had a human lifetime.
So what type of adversarial role does he have? Or advisory
Well,
role does he have?
he, really? He talks people into coming or souls into coming down to the earth plane. Those that are reluctant, those that believe that, the earth plane is not really for them, they don't feel successful in their lifetimes. That's what he does. And he's busy.
So the lifetime is St. Nicholas. Are there, what did that do for his karmic wheel?
It erased all negative karma.
Is there a way that we can do that by giving down here, or have times have changed?
Hmm. Is there a way that we can erase all negative karma down here? Yes. And can we do it through giving? Yes. Giving, but in a very non-judgmental way with zero expectations of something in return, and also offering the utmost forgiveness to those that you are giving to. You can't you can't just like feed the homeless one day of the year, he says, and then as they're coming through the line, there may be some very unsavory, even criminal individuals. You can't judge them. You have to serve the food and not be, thinking anything about it, right? You cannot have that bias against people, or whatever it is you're trying to give is not going to erase any karmic debt.
And how do we know down here in the earth plane what our karmic debt is at? Is there any way we can get that information without the help of a medium?
Because he started pointing to me. Is there through meditation, if you can get down deep enough, you can get in touch with your karmic bank account and find out, what debts are there. How are you doing? Are you in the positive? Are you in the negative? How you're doing in this lifetime. Now, I have a question. So you're making it sound as if creating good karma is free will. And he says it is. And I'm saying, how is that even possible? Because you designed your lifetime as Saint Nicholas, yes, and you designed it to be one that gives freely without judgment to the poor, charity, he touched thousands of lives ultimately in that lifetime, but you planned that. Yes, he did.
And
So,
billions subsequently.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Every year, right? So I'm asking him, so how did you how can you say that good karma is free will? And he's saying through things like kindness. And I'm like, yes, okay, but you usually have to have quite a few positive experiences in your lifetime where someone has been kind to you, so you want to repeat the kindness, or you're offering kindness to others because of those positive experiences. And he says, yes, that is correct. So I'm saying, but what about someone who grew up in nothing but negative experiences, like grew up in a hellhole, maybe a drug den or things like that, had terrible things happen? How are they supposed to just freely offer kindness if it's not programmed within? He's like, I don't know. I think I just debunked his theory.
When people down here on the earth plane call upon you, what is that process like? And are we able to help them? Or are you able to come to them?
No, he watches from afar, but he's grateful that they're thinking of him.
How does he see the shift in humanity from when he was incarnated as Saint Nicholas to today in 2025? And does he know it's 2025? Or did he just know when I told him?
He just knew when you told him.
Hmm,
Okay, because they don't have time or space over there.
we should sell him, make
I
a mint.
know. Sell them etheric clocks.
Yeah,
We'd be rich, although they don't
right?
have any money. Maybe they can bless us with etheric energy that attracts money. That would be nice.
What does he
Okay.
see as the shift in humanity over the last 1700 years?
What do you see in the shift? Well, it's definitely breaking away from religion. It's moving away from Christianity. But even in a spiritual sense, there's still the gift of giving. There's still charity. And in a lot of ways, it's more beneficial, karmically beneficial to give because you want to, not because religion has programmed you that you should.
How does he see that changing in the next 25 years?
He doesn't see that changing very much in the next 25 years. There's still this slow, gradual move away from religion. But as far as like gift giving, that's not going to change.
How many people are in his immediate soul family, and are they advisors too? Did he bring them up to the same level as him?
No, his parents are actually ahead on the ascension ladder
They're
to
ahead.
him.
What are they doing?
Yeah. Um, they are heading towards like an angelic realm.
We gotta talk
And
to
I'm
them about this calendar idea then.
Yeah, really. Um, and he is saying there's about four. There's four now, four in the soul family. There's also a brother he is telling me about.
Does he only work with humans that are hesitant to come down, or does he work with any animal life forms that are hesitant, or don't they have that level of, I don't want to go back?
Any soul that is showing resistance to committing to the earth plane.
Is he able to see what their resistance to it is, and there maybe they had an incarnation trauma, or is that too locked down for him to be able to see?
No, he understands what is bothering them. But he is more of a persuasion advisor who tries to get you to think of ways around it, how to conquer the problem. Maybe it's better next time. Just go and see. What have you got to lose? Those
In-
types of
Instead of
phrases.
NLP, he's using SLP, spiritual linguistic programming, to get people to come down. Did he really give three dowries to this man to keep his daughters out of illegal activities?
He says he gave four.
Okay. And what other acts of charity was he involved in? And
Getting care for the sick and the poor. Again, it's about like blankets, warmth. He liked to give things that were sustainable. I mean, he would give food as well, but he also got into he set the standard of people giving money, donating money, and he would turn it into charitable giving as well. He would collect money for the poor also. And people trusted him to do so. They did. They knew that he was a good person, that he was not going to keep any of the money for himself. There was no suspicion about that whatsoever.
what came after that in Incarnationville?
He had his next three lifetimes as a monk.
Hmm, interesting. And when he died, what was his awareness of passing or crossing over?
Oh, he was happy to go to the spirit world. I mean, he had set out doing what he was supposed to do. He actually did achieve his sense of purpose. And of course, he knew that great ascension steps awaited him as he got into the spirit world. He was actually awarded like medals and, well, etheric medals for being able to climb the ascension ladder, but also for being able to master. He was a master at going through ascension at that point. So he is held in high regard.
To say, people say, "Oh, it's Santa Claus" when they see him over there.
No,
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 really. What time is it over
no.
there now?
What time is it over there now? It's air time. It's just air.
I don't know what time that is. How does that equate to down here?
How does that equate to down here? It's like there's no worries about time. There's no rush. There's no stress. Um, no burdens, time burdens, no rushing around. Yeah, it's
D
totally different.
Down here
He
we have
sees
seasons. So we're coming up on the winter solstice. Are there seasonal changes on that side as well, or not?
no.
Why is it that we have this sort of reverence to the winter solstice down here?
Well, why is it we have such a reference to the winter solstice down here? Because it's representative, or it represents the winter of life. Like you have the seasons are very much associated with different phases in life. So you have like the spring where everything is fresh and new and happy and glorious, and then you have summer, which is an extension of the spring, but a little bit too hot, he says. But things are still happy and glorious. And then all good things come to an end. As we're moving through life, we're moving through different eras, different phases. And then we start getting prepared for the rocky time. So we move into autumn and we see that things die. Things change. There's nothing we can do about it. We have to keep going through it. And then winter is the harsh reality of suffering here on the earth plane. But once you get through the suffering, once you come out the other side, it's springtime again and things are wonderful and you made it.
What's the most important correction or reminder that you would like to give us down here on the earth plane of the holiday we associate with your legacy?
What is your most important? So he says it's not about materialism. It's about charity, and that's what it's supposed to be. I mean, he doesn't, do you hate that it's turned into something quite materialistic? And I mean, in some ways he does, but it's still the spirit of giving, and that spirit of giving extends over, it bleeds over into charitable giving, and that is what he is most concerned with.
But he doesn't see a shift in that.
No.
Are there any relics of his besides his bones that we might still have, or did he live most of his lifetimes as like a pauper?
He did have a thick coat, which is where that representation of, Saint Nick with the big coat, that because, he would be out in the cold, dark hours of the night, so he was undetected. And he would have to have a very thick coat to deliver all of the things. It was an underground operation, he had to make sure he wasn't seen. Nobody was suspicious of who it was, what he was doing. And also, he could hide a lot of things under his coat as
Hmm.
well, a lot of gifts. So even if somebody did see him trudging in the cold, and mostly through the snow, he says, they would not suspect that he had all these things under his coat. So that's why the coat is so big and so long. It was A, to keep him warm because he would be out for a very long time, but B, to hide the things in the coat. It had loads of pockets on the inside.
What can you tell us like what was life like living back then? Like day to day and week to week?
I mean, for him, it was very meaningful because he says, I made sure every day I had a sense of purpose and I lived up to that expectation. I made sure that I did something positive every day for another person.
Did he ever see any UFOs?
No,
Did he get to meet Christ when he crossed over?
no.
Hmm. And what would he like us most to do, I guess, in this holiday season? And don't say the giving, like something other than that to help us better connect with our own humanity.
Be happy and appreciate who you are and what you have.
What about those people that are struggling, might be sad? It's a strong time for depression during the holidays now.
You have to count your blessings. You're not counting your blessings.
Okay, I counted them. I had three. What else do I do next?
He is someone who sees everything through rose-tinted glasses. Like, as I connect with him, like everything's wonderful, everything's happy, it's all rosy. He doesn't ever look at the downside of life, even in times of a crisis. So if someone is ill or someone is poor, he sees it as an opportunity to give to others.
Your glass
So
is half
he
full.
sees,
Now I can fill it.
yeah, he sees it as a positive.
Well, thank you very much, jolly old Saint Nick. We appreciate you and thank you for your spirit of giving. Liz, thank you for bringing it forth. I thought it'd be a fun way to start the holiday season, and I look forward to more of these as the weeks progress.
This was awesome. Thank you so much. And don't forget, Mr. Reality does have a tip jar listed down
If you're
below.
feeling like giving, yes, not that you need to, but if you can, thank you. We appreciate it. Thanks, Liz. Thank you, Saint Nick.
Thank you.